Hello, everybody. This is the prediction for Richard versus the Doctor. I am joined by these
Take
two.
one.
He's just okay. He's just gone in and announced himself. There he is.
It's me, the Biff Reed.
Yeah, it's me.
No way, the Biffweed from every Mario Kart 7 track ranked. I'm such a big fan.
I love Mario Kart.
He's my
Me
favorite.
too.
My favorite One Punch Man season 2 apologist.
Hell yeah. I'll defend One Punch Man Season 2 till the day I fucking die.
That would be assuming that people are still talking about it at that point.
It better be.
Probably not.
No.
People don't talk about One Punch Man season
In a
2
positive
now.
light. Man.
Except you.
I really hope Season 3's good. I hope Season 3's good. It better be good.
I'm right there with you, my friend.
When they get to like the whole Garu bit, which version do you think they're gonna follow, manga or webcomic?
God, I hope webcomic. The manga one was so ass.
We have already gone off track, and Butter has not introduced himself yet.
Oh yeah, it's me, Biff Reed.
Yeah, and it's me, the Marjorie Ninja. I get Litness Xbox Live.
I like how I said that, but I don't think Biff properly introduced himself either. But I mean, like, he doesn't need to. It's Biff Weed. If you're watching this and you know who I am, you know who Biff is. I can't say that because I remember when I did an end segment where I was like, you know who Biff Weed is, and there were people going, who is that?
I saw one person
too,
who specifically said that I've never seen one of Biff's videos and I never will.
Oh yeah, I remember
Okay,
that. Like, what the fuck? Like, you just need to make that statement. You need to just make that clear. You know, not just you never see, but you never will, because I care so much.
I will go out of my way to make sure that I never see the Biff Reed.
If YouTube autoplay ever
Good
puts
choice.
on a Biff Weed video, I will ban YouTube from existence. I will give myself existence
Yeah,
to
we don't
Broken
need
Hands.
YouTube. We don't need YouTube anymore. All we need for entertainment is the new season of Rick and Morty airing right now on whatever channel it's airing on.
It's not airing over here.
I don't know.
But
I
like, I
haven't
wouldn't be
watched
watching it anyway. I have no context for anything.
Well, I gave you a lot of context earlier, but a lot of context for the bad parts of the show.
Yeah, I
The
can't wait.
base part,
I
you mean?
can't wait to find it on.
No,
I can't wait to find it on
no.
Channel 7 and decide to be like, okay, I'll watch it, and then that's the episode with the incest of the season.
Do you say
I
these if there
do.
would only be one? Because like seasons 4 through 6 all have like 2 each.
Ah, the incest duology.
Really? Really? That?
Yeah.
You know, maybe I don't like Rick and Morty.
As much as I enjoy the show, there's like that 10% of it now that's just fucking terrible.
I'm just imagining the terror of starting an episode and the title is incest is wincest, but the worst part is what comes after, part 1.
What?
I think this is where we change the conversation topic. Hey, death battle, right?
Oh yeah, this is about.
Yeah.
I mean, we were technically on topic for how these tend to go. This is about Rick and Morty.
I wasn't liking where it was spiraling
And about
to. I'll be
Dr.
completely
Doctor,
honest.
So, Rick versus the Doctor. What are y'all bets?
I have watched one episode of Doctor Who fully, and I've attempted to watch some other episodes, and either have been cut out or I've not had the time to finish them, or it was the first episode of 13th Doctor, and I just didn't want to finish it. So
I have not seen any of it. I've seen like clips here and there. The main exposure I have is that one clip of Ben repeatedly saying, "The Doctor fought Robin Hood. The Doctor fought Robin Hood. The Doctor not even fought. The Doctor met Robin Hood."
he did fight him, I think, with a spoon.
I know, but that's not what Ben was saying in the clip.
Well,
yeah.
I have seen. I'm not an absolute expert with Doctor Who, but I have seen a good chunk of it, or at least I'd say I'm more of a casual watcher on Doctor Who, and I've seen a good. probably like 30% of it at least.
That's
I've-
not bad, yeah. Considering
not
how
bad,
much
yeah.
of it there is.
That's like
Yeah,
200 plus
I-
episodes.
Just for like transparency's sake, none of us are like encyclopedic experts on any of these characters, but like I generally know Rick and Morty, Barter generally knows Doctor Who, and Nam generally knows I think a decent bit about both in terms of like the
I
verses
did
of
use the
playable
Doctor
stuff.
on Not Death Battle, but if you know Not Death Battle, you know that that's not a guarantee that I did any actual research.
Yeah.
I also
I don't
wasn't
think
the,
you
I also
watched
wasn't the one working on
Oliver.
it. I wasn't the one working on it. That was Uan's episode. So
I'm inclined to believe you did not walk across the entire planet to research all of the ground against Zeus.
maybe, you don't know that. That is the episode that
You've just
Yeah,
you,
I didn't realize it until Huan pointed it out, but the next time trailer for Zeus versus Ground was like the proof that I have touched grass.
Congratulations.
an extreme rarity in the versus community.
I know. Like we were watching all the next time trailers, or like which ones were the best ones, and when that one came up, he was like, "Oh my god, you've touched grass." I just didn't know how to respond to that.
I think for this one, I don't think we're going to be giving like full breakdowns on stats and stuff, because like I feel like I feel like we're probably not prepared enough for that, but we can go into like general Arsenal stuff and any feats that we know of.
I generally know some Rick and Doctor stats, but generally it would come down more to their tech because let's be real, like Doctor has like universal to multiversal, and then the high complex and all that stuff
he
with
gets
his
higher than
certain
She-Hulk.
Yeah, and then Rick has like he's built machines that have threatened the multiverse, and then the whole.
The show creators, I forget if it's like the showrunners or one of the writers, but they did say that Rick could destroy the multiverse if he put his mind to it, and the multiverse in Rick and Morty is stated to be infinite, though the first 5 seasons take place exclusively within the central finite curve, which a bunch of Ricks, like I forget if C-137, the main Rick, was like primarily responsible for it, but I think all the Ricks collectively like created this pocket within the multiverse where the only universes within it were the only ones where Rick was the smartest being in it.
Yeah.
So, like, and anything outside of the central finite curve, which Evil Marty eventually broke out of, and we still have not seen him since. Those were all the universes where the smartest being is not Rick.
As far as the physical stats, generally, I believe the Doctor should just be stronger.
Yeah, Rick's rarely ever portrayed as like obviously strong for a person and like has some superhuman feats, but I've heard Doctors just like tanked a supernova point blank to the face, and they're never gonna have Rick do anything on that level.
He just stood there in a supernova, was just fine.
The regeneration of the Doctor is absurd. So from the TARDIS itself has survived the Big Bang before, and when the Doctor regenerated while standing in the TARDIS, it caused it severe damage. So just his regeneration is within the cosmic of universal level.
That was like that was the inside too. It wasn't just the outside, because the outside's there's less of it. It was the inside he was damaging, and it took something like I think the Quantum Archangel is what it took to be like more powerful than the TARDIS can handle, and that thing's very strong.
I will say, I think I don't think the Doctor's regeneration in terms of like reviving and creating the big explosion or whatever would be able to play into it, because if the Doctor was in that condition, that would mean Rick was able to briefly kill them, and he has seen or like he's at least aware of Doctor Who, so he would likely know to kill them before the regeneration can kick in.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd get to that point.
For the piloting feats kind of have been weird in the community for a bit. Generally, Rick's highest feat right now gets like 100 billion with the higher end when crossing the galaxy, but the TARDIS has outpaced the Big Bang and has been able to like move faster than time, I believe. It is definitely just beyond the concept of speed with the TARDIS itself.
Even in finite speeds, like it went from like the edge of the universe to Earth's location in like a second, like a couple seconds. It's fast.
And then even if you don't want to use that, Rick's best feat that comes to mind is reacting to the space laser with his fight with the president, and that gets relativistic. But the Doctor has this one feat where they said he reacted in a nanosecond to a bunch of bullets, and that gets, I think, like 4 times faster than light.
Hasn't he like grabbed infinity?
Yeah,
or whatever,
there's like a quote in one of the books where like a beam of infinite speed goes past him, and he just like he just reaches out and he's like, no biggie. It's just infinite speed. Everything else is frozen in comparison. But the Doctor's fine.
There are quotes like one that comes to mind is, I saw the birth of the universe. I watched as time ran out, moment by moment, until nothing remained. No time, no space, just me. So pretty much talking about witnessing both the creation and the death of the universe, and where.
You just made me think. Would it be possible to calculate the feat from the 13th Doctor when she, like, overloads like the central whatever of Gallifrey that like has all the entire life knowledge of every Time Lord ever, and her brain power was more powerful. Like, if that thing can process that much information within a finite span, and the Doctor's collective experience is greater than that of all Time Lords, and she could process all of that into it, I wonder if that's calcable. Like, that would be ridiculous if that was calcable.
You could probably argue it would just get to infinite or immeasurable kinds of speeds, because like Doctor does it. Because like the amount of information that he knows. But if you went with just general, you could probably get something, because I think we get the age of the Doctor, like the exact age at some point, which is like over 9,000, I believe. Over 4 billion mentally. Yeah, because there was this one point where a creature kept grabbing him, and then he was being sent back. And then he was having to relive the same event to punch through this one wall.
I remember that. He just punches through it, and over billions of years, he just gets out. That's dedication.
Yeah.
I would have given up by, like, at least the first billion.
But yeah, so he's well over billion, so that would get absurdly high.
If we want to switch gears back to Rick to give him, like, his due credit for a second, some of the feats I'm aware of off the top of my head that aren't just they say he could destroy the multiverse if he put his mind to it. I know that in the Vindicators episode, while completely blackout drunk, he was able to create several bombs that were entirely capable of blowing up the solar system on accident, which that's like, and if we're that's like as high as he gets in terms of like explosive yield, as far as I'm aware. But he's also got some devices that are capable of like reaching out to a universal scale. Like Marty in one episode asked him to make a device that like saves his place in time, like in a video game. And he's going about using that, uses it like dozens, if not hundreds of times, and later he finds out that it's not actual time travel. It's basically replacing himself in the place of a version of himself in another universe. And he basically fucks up stuff for a whole bunch of timelines, and Rick merges like all of those into one timeline. I'm pretty sure in the comics there's another instance of like one of the Ricks that isn't C-137, so like an inferior Rick, is also capable of like I forget if it was merging or destroying universes or timelines, but either way, that would be like a solid universal thing there at the very least. Um, but really, what's jumping out to me is the main thing that stops me from being able to say that Rick would be able to beat Doctor is that from what I've heard about Doctor, they have all this stuff like off the bat, whereas a lot of Rick's stuff comes from like technology that he has to set up. Like he would need to get away and actually like set all this stuff up, which the Doctor can just turn off with the sonic screwdriver and potentially other means if I'm forgetting any of those.
Yeah, he's got a lot of tech which could mess up. I can't jump for Rick on there. There is this one thing people generally see as an outlier, but if you'd like to give it to Rick, whenever they break the little rift thing that's preventing all the universes that where Rick isn't the smartest,
Mm-hmm.
the forces are pushing against him, and he does manage to physically overpower it enough to pull the lever and to stop that so that they don't die. And people argue that's at least he'd have to be moving at infinite speed to the context of keeping infinite universes away, and arguably give him multi.
I've always been like confused on how infinite universes work in Rick and Morty because like they're within the central finite curve, like a set amount of universes, but like how do you pull those select few out of infinity? Cause, and like we know there is a finite number in there because another version of Rick was able to like catalog all the Ricks within the central finite curve from least to most evil. So like the fact that he was able to get all of them shows that there is a limit.
I don't think it's ever really explained that much. It's just generally all the Ricks just did that because they're really smart, so all of them together could pull something off like that that's not really out of the box for him.
Yeah, that checks out.
What you could argue about any kind of outliers for him, he's added mechanics to his body over the years. We've seen, like, originally he was pretty human, but, like, his fight with, is it just Birdman? Or
Bird person?
Bird person, yeah. Like, whenever he fights him, we start to see that he actually added metal enhancements, and then when flying across the universe, also, he had to be sedated because he's like tight.
That one. The cybernetic enhancements are pretty prominent in the new season as well, actually. At least as far as unless I'm like confusing different scenes from different episodes, but I know at the very least they're actively part of one of them. But yeah, Doctor can just turn all those off, so it's not like they matter. I think another thing people bring up as like a win con for him is Operation Phoenix, which is if Rick dies, even though he shut down his own Operation Phoenix in his own world, he would be reincarnated into another body in a different universe from another Rick who still has Operation Phoenix running, which is where they have like new bodies incubating and like in I'm blanking on the word, like the chambers, like sleep chambers, stasis chambers, yeah. And he just like revives in those. Like I think it's in the season 4 premiere where he dies, and the entire episode is him just constantly reviving in fascist universes, and just being like repeatedly killed throughout the episode until he finally finds the most normal universe for him to be able to come back to his own one, where everyone is wasps.
Yeah. That one, I don't know if they ever reset that up, because it did get shut down within one of the finals, but generally Death Battle would probably give it to him, because that's one of his... But the Doctor does have several means to counter it. The main one people bring up is the Moment, which will just destroy all versions of Rick. But there's also just like an eraser gun, which same thing, it just erases your existence on all timelines. So he does have counters to that. Another thing that I do think, like, first the sonic screwdriver that can just shut down tech immediately, which Rick does show to be way more screwed in those kinds of situations. I remember there was an episode where
because like there's like a thing with time lords where when they're in trouble, like causality like loops around to help them, which could just jam a weapon that could potentially kill him and stop it from actually working. So causality does help out Time Lords.
I believe that there is like some kind of canon explanation about like, oh well, these plot hole looking moments where it's like, oh, this just so happened to happen. It is an actual god manipulating.
Plot induced stupidity is like an actual canonical thing for the Doctor.
I remember Rick had magic. I don't know if it's specific to that area, but I remember he had magic and he picked up on that very quickly. But even if he has it, the Doctor's mere presence actually just cancels out magic.
I think he makes a point of not liking using magic anyway. Like, and even then, I think I forget if it was like just a different kind of science or like if he just scienced his way around using the magic. No, I think it was in that dimension, like his technology wouldn't work, so he had to learn the magic. And that's as much as we're going to acknowledge the dragon episode in this.
As Butter said, it doesn't matter. I like how like the explanation isn't just that magic doesn't work, but like the Doctor's presence, I think, causes physics to just stop magic from happening. Like it makes the magic scared to be around the Doctor, and physics is just like, nah, mate. Yeah, nah, no magic.
The Doctor is so absurd at times in such goofy ways. Like the sonic scoop. There was one point where he picked up like a shard of glass and then takes the top off and starts to use it like it's a marker.
I remember this. Like, the Doctor beats entire armies by just going, by the way, I'm the Doctor. And they're like, oh shit. And they just go.
Yeah, I think I remember one of the scenes. It was like with those giant eyeball things. He was like, "Oh yeah, you're connected up to Earth's history. Take a little gander. See who I am." And then they got scared and fucked off.
They just like nope. They literally did the Punisher gif and then left.
Yeah, so the Doctor is. The Doctor is just really absurd. Not that he needs it, and I've been told generally it's not standard, it's not something he should have, but I just like to bring it up just to show how insane he can have. But at one point he absorbs the power of the glory, which that acts as the point of the entire omniverse, which is infinite in infinite size, infinite dimensions, infinite dimensional. And it allows them to control and do absolutely anything and everything. So he becomes a god, pretty much.
Theoretically, he could just time travel back to the point where he had it, and then just bring that version of himself in.
Oh, the moment, I think, also can just bring in all the other Doctors.
Yeah,
Yes, so I've heard. I know, like, different versions of the Doctor have met themselves before.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually fairly regular.
So yeah, power to Rick. He's a strong character, but he is just up against the worst kinds of odds. They both like Rick does know the Doctor, but the Doctor did make a cheeky little reference to Rick in one of his comics before, so even that's not really much on the table for him, unfortunately.
I think it was the Imaginary Axis who made a tweet saying Doctor Who or the Doctor is what people who hype up Prep Time Batman think Prep Time Batman is.
That's pretty accurate.
That is very fair.
Yeah,
I'll say one of the few win cons that Rick does have is I don't think it would work because he's only done it to a normal person, and it is very likely technology that the Doctor could just shut off. But there's a scene where they're in the Oval Office, and the president's ordering one of like his lackeys to arrest Rick, and Rick's just warning him, son, don't do it. You don't have to. I'm warning you. If you touch me, you're going to die. And then the guy like grabs his shoulder and drops to the floor. Rick doesn't move. Rick does nothing. The guy just dies immediately.
Sorry to break it to you, but Doctor Time Lords resist death manipulation.
Yeah.
Oh my
they
god,
fought
yeah.
Not just
It
that.
was like
Time Lords are
sister-
literally more
sister-
real than anyone else, so any form of like instant death just ceases to work.
I've heard of that. Like death can't be imbued on them.
You can't even erase them from
Yeah.
existence. They're just too
Yeah.
real. They exist too much to be erased.
Like, yeah, he's got like even if you erase the Doctor of that time, like the rest of the Doctors still exist. It's like a Thawne situation too. Like you're not gonna kill him even if you kill that version of him with it.
Yeah, didn't he like just stand there in the face of like some like hole in space time that was erasing things from existence, and the Doctor just stood there and was like, "Yeah, this is fine. This is fine."
Yeah, the
Undeterred.
Doctor being a little cheeky.
Unfortunately, that means he's gonna lose because the only reason he didn't stop the universe from being destroyed is they didn't notice it in the first place. So,
Oh my god, shut up.
I'm glad you.
It
picked
means
that
he
up
couldn't
immediately.
stop it.
He didn't notice it was happening.
He's the Doctor's a cheeky little scamp.
So I think we've gotten the general idea across now that we think the Doctor wins. Should we get into like stuff we want to see in the fight?
I've thought about this fight a bit, and there are a lot of ways I can see the death. But there are two big things that I'd really enjoy for the death. Problem is, one of them would involve the regeneration, which Rick does know the Doctor, so him getting caught off guard by that would be a little strange.
Doctor
But
couldn't
I
win.
like the idea. I like the idea that through the fight, he's progressively pissing off the Doctor, eventually gets that fatal blow in, but then the regeneration like is so intense it shatters the portal gun, so he doesn't have a means to escape, and that vaporizes him. And then new Doctor.
For what I hear, like the Doctor would absolutely hate everything Rick stands for.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Doctor is like an anti-Rick, from what I know. Like
He would
Rick is a human who is nihilistic. The Doctor is beyond what anything like living in the three-dimensional world could understand. But he values nothing more than those small moments of time with others.
Yeah, Rick does as well. Generally, he just isn't capable of like displaying affection like that and such. Like he considers there's an episode where they go into this like alien spa and get all the toxic traits taken out their taken from their body, and like the cleansed Rick is able to like show Marty like affection as his grandfather, but like the toxic version with all his toxic traits, that one is saddled with like what he considers his irrational attachment, like the worry over other people.
Yeah, that's how they beat him, was threatening the Morty,
Yeah.
and he actually cared for him. The
One of my favorite details is that like after Rick has the toxins removed from him, the drive back home is like the only time in the series we ever see him wearing his seatbelt.
Oh, I did not know that. It's cool. It's a fun little detail.
Be safe, everyone.
Yeah, but wear your seatbelts. Indeed, take after
Yes.
the go at Chun-Li versus that's a drinking and driving PSA. Fuck.
don't take after Chun-Li versus Mai Shiranui, because that will involve crashing.
I mean, that one was telling you not to drink and drive, so yeah, you should be taking after that episode.
Well, yeah, but then like do consider that Mai crashed and burned on Chun-Li, so clearly that was showing as a W.
Oh, of course. What other weird shit is there to bring up it? All right. So Rick's car, right? His spaceship is sentient. And there's an episode where like he and Marty go inside the universe within the car battery, and they leave Marty's sister Summer just like sitting in the car. And he tells it, oh, just keep Summer safe. We'll be back soon. So a guy approaches the car, and it looks like he'll pose a threat to Summer, and so the car kills him, like chops him up into 18 little pieces. And Summer doesn't like that, so she says, "Hey, no, don't kill people." And so when the guy's body comes up, asking what the hell happened, the car then paralyzes him. It doesn't kill him, but still neutralize the potential threat. Summer says, "No, you can't hurt people either." So then when the cops show up, the car's next method of dealing with it is scanning the officers and finding emotional vulnerabilities to exploit. They look at one of the officers who lost his son and creates a clone of his child to melt in front of him, which Summer also doesn't like and says, "Hey, no, don't do that either." And so then the army shows up, and the ship's all out of options. And the way they resolve it is by forging world peace with the telekinetic spiders that exist in that universe, so that the army will get off their back.
Think about how messed up it would be if during the fight the ship makes a clone of Rose.
Oh, that'd be fucked.
That would piss him off. That would be so awful.
I think he can just like sonic screwdriver on the ship and shut that down completely.
I mean, the Doctor's shown no hesitation to kill fully sentient vehicles before. The 13th Doctor just freely blew up a version of the TARDIS and was like, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah.
The bitch.
I've heard that the 13th Doctor is not great.
She just sends like a swarm of Daleks into it. It's like, alright, fuck off now, no one cares about you.
His TARDIS is alive, so it'd be funny if maybe the ships had interaction with each other.
The TARDIS is fully sentient, and it's had multiple bodies before.
Does Doctor have like as many weapons to bring in as Rick, or is it just going to be a couple things?
He has a massive arsenal, but generally we don't know what happens to it, but typically the Doctor doesn't get rid of stuff. It's usually just in the TARDIS somewhere.
I mean, the sonic screwdriver is more weapons than Rick's got, just on its own.
Yeah, flamethrower, it turned his glasses into sunglasses. It turned
no bitch has glasses into sunglasses.
No, but like Biff, it turned his sunglasses into glasses.
I remember on the cast for this one, actually, every time Ben would bring up like a weapon or whatever, Liam would say, "Oh no, that's just a one-off thing. He's only used that once," as if the character he was debating for wasn't Rick Sanchez. Rick literally makes a point that while he's in one of those fascist universes that I mentioned before, the fascist Marty says, "Oh, I like Mr. Meeseeks. Bring out Mr. Meeseeks." And Rick says, "Oh, okay, now look at that. Now we're doing something we've done before." So like he makes a point in the show that he doesn't like to use things more than once outside of like his main kit, like the cybernetics, his ship, and his portal gun.
There's something amusing about the idea that the Doctor only used it once. He can't use it again. He can't fucking time travel.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. I want to how would they react to each other with? Because Rick hates time travel, but the Doctor does that all the time.
One of my favorite lines in one of my favorite lines in the Vat of Acid episode where Rick does the quick save device is like when Marty says, "Wait, no, it's not real time travel." "No, Marty, I don't do time travel. If Ant-Man and the Wasp can do it, I'm not interested."
Oh,
never
back on
tell
this
him that
thing.
Ant-Man is smarter than him.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, MCU Ant-Man
Not
specifically.
MCU Ant-Man.
Oh,
MCU
yeah.
Ant-Man's a fucking idiot. He can't do anything right.
Yeah, that's why he took insult to it.
No, I think he's great. I think he's quite smart.
He spent the entirety of Quantum Mania never thinking to just become big and step on everyone. Until
I
like
haven't
right
seen
near
Quantum
the end.
Mania, and I don't
You
plan
shouldn't.
to.
I'm.
There are so
It's,
few things I've become as burnt out on hearing about as Ant-Man and the Lost Quantumania.
To be
I'm
fair,
gonna
though,
be honest. The fact
I don't understand why people hate the movie so much because I can barely remember enough of it to hate anything about it.
I've only seen the first Ant-Man, and I gotta say, the guy having a tank on his keychain, like they're like, "Oh, just go ahead and use this." Like, why don't you just use that from the beginning? Like, honest.
I don't know. I've not seen the Ant-Man movies in ages.
The first
Isn't
Ant-Man's the one that's like quite enjoyable to me.
I like the first two.
I like the second one enough.
I enjoy the first one. I have not seen the rest. I've just seen the first, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You're good. That's all you need.
Yeah, like you're not reinventing the wheel. It's fucking Ant-Man.
Oh, but they didn't reinvent the wheel with Five Nights at Freddy's.
I am really gutted. I am really gutted that Edgar Wright did not stay on to direct Ant-Man like he was supposed to.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do want to bring up with Rick versus the Doctor, with the end, usually they go with a death. But with how the Doctor is very avoidant on death and usually does like he could do very cruel punishments.
Oh my
because
God.
like these three people wanted.
I'm thinking of it the same thing. Go on.
These three people wanted to live forever, so he chained one guy up with like chains made out of a dwarf star, trapped another girl inside of a mirror, and then I think the third guy was just a scarecrow, made him a scarecrow in a field so that they'd live forever, but they'd just be stuck like that.
They'd be fully sentient and aware the whole time.
Something like that for Rick just sounds so fitting.
Turning him into an inanimate object, akin to, say, a pickle.
He turns him into the pickle that always remains in the store that no one ever bothers to pick up to buy, and just kind of gets constantly piled on with more and more produce until by the time anyone notices, it's all shriveled up. That's what he turns him into. That specific pickle.
I'm Pickle Rick.
I can't believe that's actually a fucking win con for him.
No, yeah. Now that Bud has mentioned it, that is one thing he can do is put Rick into a position where he is not dead, but he fucking wishes he could be.
I feel like that's also what they were going to do to him in, I forget which episode, where they said they were trapping him in a machine where they said,
yeah, I know what one you're talking about, where like it swaps your conscious and unconscious minds. You become incapable of perceiving reality. You become incapable of perceiving your dreams while your reality becomes far beyond your comprehension or whatever. Also, every 10 seconds it stabs your balls.
Wow, they said it in exactly those words, exactly the way you said it.
No, that is like they have like this long, semi-long monologue, like describing the torment you'll get from swapping your conscious and unconscious minds, and then at the very end, it's also every 10 seconds it stabs your ball. And that's the point where Rick's like, no, I'm out. Like he was humoring it before, but after the stabbing the balls part, that's when he turns and runs.
It's messed up that Ricks do that to each other. They do that to make a freaking candy bar.
It's not as bad as what they do to Marty's.
They stab each other in the balls to make candy bars. I'm not sure I follow that logic.
Oh, all right. No,
No.
there is. All right, so there's this candy in the Citadel, or what once was the Citadel of Ricks, called Simple Ricks, where like one of the Ricks who's just like who one of the few who actually like, remained a good father to Beth. Has like a really nice memory of like her opening a birthday gift or something, and the Ricks captured him and put him in like put a helmet on him where he's like basically comatose but constantly reliving that experience for the first time, and using the chemicals from like the joy he feels from that memory, and turning it into a coating for their wafer cookies.
Well, at least he's not suffering consciously.
Yeah.
Well, after he gets freed, he dies basically right away.
They throw him into the blender dimension.
Well, at least he didn't suffer then. Oh, I have no. Blender
No,
doesn't
he
sound.
got thrown into a blender dimension.
Blender doesn't sound like a fun way to die.
I think I think the blender dimension is not how I choose to go.
It's definitely like a solid D tier, maybe low C tier way to go.
I'd say B for blender.
Ooh, blender. That's my favorite animation thing.
Oh yeah, I'm very experienced in blender.
I can't believe that this nice version of Rick got killed by the default cube.
Well, now the regular Rick is going to die to the moment cube.
That's true.
I really thought you'd managed to go like every instance of mentioning the moment without bringing the joke up. Jesus Christ.
Like, if I had to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I started
write...
this with the Xbox Live joke, so I have no room to complain.
I just had to write for the right moment.
Worst day of my life.
I still just love and hate simultaneously how that ended up not only being a weapon, but one of the best counters to Rick's.
No, I've got a bit planned for my review of the episode that is like reliant on them emphasizing the moment. I'm going to spoil that here, though. Where's the fun in that?
No, I cannot wait to see I cannot wait for this episode.
I'm really excited
well,
for it.
Unfortunately, you're gonna fucking have to because, you don't have time travel.
Yeah.
Now, Nan, how do you not know I'm the next Doctor?
I've just decided you're not.
Aw, Nan has plot manipulation.
Also, I can see the future, remember?
True, you are 11 hours ahead of me.
I'm actually wondering, like, for the fight, are they going to use 14th? Because 14th is the 10th Doctor, which is the most, like, popular and well-known.
Wait, it's just David Tennant again?
Yeah. 14th was David Tennant. Again.
I feel like it'd probably start with the most popular Doctor, but given that things like the moment, and there are plenty of ways to pull out the other Doctors,
I think the other Doctors
and other
Ricks.
Ricks.
Yeah. Right, I think realize this is going to be a hand-drawn fight in the same vein as Omni-Man Homelander and Genos War Machine. So, like,
shut up. Shush.
I don't think we should be expecting too much hand-drawn animation.
They could literally just replicate that one shot from the one of the anniversaries where all the Doctors are like lined up. Just replicate that one shot. That's all you need to do. Oh, and while you're at it, throw 13th in there as well, because she wasn't around when that happened, so you can just chuck her in haphazardly somewhere.
I'll be sorely disappointed if they don't go through a portal and end up in Bill versus Discord.
Yeah, they've got to do that. Like they've set it up.
I feel like they're gonna reference more than a few things in this episode. Like, this is a time travel episode, so
and a dimensional travel episode.
There's gonna be a lot of references, I can imagine.
And going into the Doctor's best weapon, and Biff Lee's favorite word, the moment.
No, I'm really excited for this episode. Like, I love the after Bill Discord, I said like, oh, this episode was so good, the rest of the season could be Marvel BC, and I would have no room to complain. And then it's like they saved all of their most interesting matchups for
Well, actually, the
for
Doctor
latter half of the
exists
season.
in the same omniversal space as Marvel and DC, so this is a Marvel and a DC episode technically.
Man, I'm going to drop kick you.
I'm just saying, in canon, for both Doctor Who and Transformers, they established that both of those worlds, when they like connect to each other, they're like, oh, by the way, your world exists in the same everything as Marvel DC. It's like, oh yeah, yours too. It's like, yep. Then they just leave.
Fucking hell.
Like fucking Death's Head is a character who's shown up in Marvel, Transformers, and Doctor Who, and just like he's like the point where you can scale all those worlds to each other is through Death's Head. You could reasonably make the Doctor a Marvel Herald.
No.
Like I'm pretty sure Death's Head's like at least scaling to the Thing, so at least like a low tier Herald at least.
I'm fairly sure the Doctor does not need scaling in order to end up in the Herald. I'm pretty sure he's in the Skyfather tiers.
With his equipment, yes. With his equipment, yes. Physically, though,
yes, that's right.
This would be physically scaling. He could physically get that strong via Death's Head.
How strong is he physically again?
Survive the solar
without technology.
With that technology and without
the regeneration. The regeneration thing, I kind of think you could just argue that would have to make him within the similar vein, because all he's doing is healing his body, not necessarily like it's not some kind of special self-destruct thing. All he's doing is recreating his body from cell to cell, and his body is outputting power as a result. So
that is true. Yeah,
I think Uni Doctor is fine physically.
I think you can argue that, yeah. But the Marvel Herald scaling's a lot funnier.
True.
Like, just imagine, randomly, they're like, the Doctor was even able to trade blows with Death's Head, a character equivalent to the Thing from Marvel Comics. The Thing is strong enough to match these characters, including those who could fight Hyperion, who could survive 2 universes colliding into each other.
I'm actually curious, to see if you can keep your prediction streak going then. What do you think are going to be the final 2 episodes of the season?
Oh, don't fucking ask me. My predictions come from me just making a random fucking joke out of nowhere.
So make a random joke out of nowhere.
Oh, don't fucking ask me. What do you think?
Well, based on what the consensus I've seen for the wheel is, after Rick Doctor, the 2 symbols that are left are the suit and the recycle symbol. So I think we could be getting some combination of Galactus Unicron, Joker Giorno, and Bowser Eggman. I think 2 of those 3. I don't know which 2, but I would place my bets in 2 of those 3 happening.
This episode could be the recycle. Do consider the Doctor.
I don't think it.
I'm just saying. Also, Colex could be recycle as well.
It could be, but I think I'm a little more confident in that one being the scales currently,
But there wasn't a lot of scaling in that episode.
That's true.
I'm going to drop kick.
The scales should probably be Freezatron, because that probably would have been all scaling for Frieza.
I think the general consensus for Freezatron really surprised me, but the shuffle arrows, because someone looked up symbol for transformation. Yeah. And it makes a good bit of sense.
You know, I've been looking through this season, and there was just this one thread I've been a part of that I've talked about the strongest winners and losers in it. And when Silver Surfer happened, you kind of sit there and be like, well, that's a Skyfather there, so you're probably not getting much stronger than that. And then Raven showed up,
Raven showed up before.
Raven showed up first.
Oh.
Also, there are people who put
There
are people who put Silver Surfer above Raven anyway. Like, if you scale him
Raven versus Silver.
If you scale him to null, you can argue he's just outright stronger than Raven.
The Raven versus Silver Surfer, that one was, I was like, okay, well, she's at least in the same vein, but that one's at least arguably within each other's range. So it was like, well, it's not getting stronger than this. And then now you have the Doctor showing up, and with the Doctor's tech, I think he would scale above them.
I don't think Doctor gets into like that range of beyond infinite dimensions by that many levels, Because do keep in mind that
that many levels.
like Raven's power, I think you can is like at least 7 times transcending infinite dimensions, at least.
I hate that phrase.
I
I
hate
hate
it. I
every
hate
word
it.
you just said.
I hate it so much, but that's like what she's demonstrated, and Silver Surfer's like on the same tier. I think the Doctor is probably, depending on how you scale the Dovahkiin, the strongest non-Marvel DC winner in this season, easily, if he wins, which he should.
Probably.
Like, what the fuck?
Unless they
What
like
the fuck is Bill
debunk a lot
Cipher
of
gonna
stuff.
do to the Doctor? Though that would be a sick crossover.
Oh.
That would be ballsy.
Actually.
That'd be fucking wicked.
Oh, believe me, people put Bill at, say, he's 11th dimensional, so he'd automatically beat someone like the Doctor. But even then, I think that the Doctor just blatantly has stuff
The
that
Doctor
reaches.
is a higher dimensional being too, though. Like, Time Lords are just, they exist more than others. They are higher dimensional.
Ooh, actually, I should mention, just for the sake of bringing up, Rick has beaten a fourth dimensional being, but like that's in the sense of like the guy is a time traveler, and I don't think they meant fourth dimensional in the same sense as like Marvel or DC would mean it, because Rick just beats him in a fist fight without any gadgets.
Yeah, it's the dimensional stuff can be a bit weird.
I don't necessarily think it'd matter for the Doctor, because he doesn't tend to like abuse what he is that much, aside from when he decides to explode. But that's you know, that's understandable.
He can just force regen to happen.
Yeah. he could easily like regen at one point in the fight, and Rick escapes it, and then he does it a second time, and he just like breaks, like he makes sure Rick can't escape a second time. He could easily do that, and that would be like, yeah, he wins.
Hit the little boop on the sonic screwdriver.
He could win by committing seppuku. Like that's a power move, right there.
Yeah,
like that's
he can just win however he wants, honestly.
Yeah, he can just decide this is how I want to win, and like they probably pull it off. Like what's Rick going to do? Shoot him? What, is he gonna kill him in that moment in time? And then in comes another Doctor from another moment in time?
I've heard that like there's this one meta episode of Rick and Morty where he had tech that could affect the meta.
That one was weird. I forget the specifics of that, but I do know that he fights a guy named Retcon, whose power is to he is just a walking record. He can change things and make that how they always have been.
Okay, that character versus Superboy Prime though.
Fucking Superboy Prime just finger flakes him out of existence.
Nah, but like the retcon punch, you know, they can just retcon everything. They can make it so Wiz and Doomstick were always giant turkey monsters named Bob and William.
I'm gonna look this up actually. Retcon, how does he die?
You gotta look it up with those
alive?
exact words.
No, I just
they retconned his death.
Yeah,
that
let's
seems
see. Prior to the Rick is forced to release him prematurely. Rat then battles his captors, killing continuity error after retconning her weakness to be death by coffee. Okay, there is no. Yeah, it doesn't seem like. Yeah, okay, I must be misremembering the episode. It was like the start of the year when I watched it, so I don't remember.
I just remember him getting beaten up, but not necessarily he was killed.
I guess like it does matter anyway. If Rick can deal with a meta being, then the fact that Time Lords are meta beings doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, that is still a helpful point. The fact that he's dealt with a meta, even.
I can't remember if Rick had to like run away from him. Is the thing.
I know that he somehow knew about it. Like Morty didn't understand it, and Rick was like, "Oh, I think the intro is about to start," and all that.
Yeah, they go through the intro.
He outpaced Cthulhu, and Cthulhu's immeasurable.
He's also been beaten by a boat before, so I don't know how valuable Cthulhu scaling is.
It's Cthulhu like an actual. He's like star level and massively FTL. I hear
Yeah.
he's not that powerful.
Yeah, what's more
I
powerful.
say like destroying.
What's more powerful with Cthulhu is just like what he is, as opposed to how powerful he is. Because like he has been beaten by just slamming a boat into his face, and he was like, okay, that knocked me out.
Homer ate him.
Homer did eat him, yeah.
That's reasonable.
Marge, I scaled a star level.
I mean, Homer does scale to Peter, who does scale to Adam West, so he does scale, above Cthulhu. Just saying.
I'd say Homer scaling to Bender would be better.
That's also true. That's also true. He does scale above Cthulhu. What a loser this Cthulhu guy is.
Yeah, Cthulhu really disappointed me whenever I actually learned, because he was always so hyped up whenever I heard about him, and I was like, all right, this guy seems kind of cool. Looking into him, I'm like, I shouldn't be disappointed that you can just destroy stars, but can only just destroy stars?
Hey, Bar, you should go check Nem's latest tweet.
No. Cthulhu loses to Canon Slenderman. That's crazy.
But go check Nem's latest tweet. You should go check that.
Okay.
Eric Knudson's claim that Fear Mythos is like pretty much in line with Slenderman, so that should be considered canonical for him.
So how strong is Canon Slenderman then?
So if you use Fear Mythos, he should at least be universal, but he's probably higher. He's like the second strongest being.
Okay.
Sort of Zolgo.
Slenderman Octodad cancelled. Can't believe it.
If you don't
okay, finally he beats Freddy.
If you don't use Fear Mythos, I think, I don't think Angel Gamers can. I think you'd have to use like. There's the silly argument that him turning backwards or forward time is actually him turning the planet, but that's stupid, and anyone who thinks that should also feel bad. But he doesn't have many feats outside of that. He probably does just get walloped by Octodad if you don't use that.
That's funny.
He can turn
from
people
what
into
I've
trees.
From what I researched, because I was curious if Freddy Fazbear beat him. His best feat is the instantly setting the forest on fire, which gets large building.
Right.
But that's also like.
Let's not go spoiling the multiverse match on Freddy's hands yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't.
That's fair.
I can't talk about Freddy either. I'm about to use him as well. I can't comment on Freddy either. I'm pretty.
We're all
pretty sure that
incapable of talking about
Freddy Fazbear versus Slenderman should be more fair than Freddy Fazbear versus Luigi, though. I'm just gonna hazard a guess.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. Really, it could go either way. I think.
Nah, so just save Slendy Bendy for the Octo Man.
First thing that comes up when you search Animaniacs Death Battle is Slenderman.
That's.
Isn't it because of that cartoon fighting thing?
Yeah, Ultimate Cartoon Fighting.
Yeah. The Animaniac. Well, actually, if Slenderman gets Universal, then maybe there's a debate there.
This is if you use Fear Mythos. I think Fear Mythos is like the creepypasta version of SCP. And Slenderman is like the second strongest being in it.
Who's the strongest?
Zolgo. Which is a big reason why Zolgo versus Scarlet King is a thing, because they're like the big evil boys of the.
I don't like the Scarlet King.
Scarlet King's fine. I don't like when they throw in like other stories and like these are connected to the Scarlet King now. Like in what world did 682 need to be connected to the Scarlet King? I don't get it.
I just don't. I just prefer not to. The only SCP and that kind of stuff I might want to see is maybe 682 Doom, but other than that, I think I'm good on those overly cosmic stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I tend
unlike
to
the
click
Doctor.
more with grounded things.
Unlike the
Okay, but the
famously
Doctor,
grounded Doctor.
the Doctor's a little cheeky guy, though.
Actually, if you don't
he
mind,
Yeah,
can't
he's
be
you're
okay
mad
not
at
on
gonna
him.
level.
beef with a little guy.
He's a
No, he's
little,
just a dude. Like,
he's
he's
just
just
a
a...
little scamp, a little cute little guy. Look at him. He's David Tennant.
Look at him.
He couldn't hurt a fly. Just like the. Oh no, the fly's gone
Who
from my
actu-
room. Never mind.
So where's it gone? Yeah.
I've killed all the flies.
You should go find that.
No,
Bring it back, ask it who it thinks wins Rick versus the Doctor.
it's back. You little fucker. You little scamp. I'm gonna name
Manifesting war.
I'm gonna name you Norton. That's what I'm gonna call this fly now. His name's Norton.
Norton hears a new.
Norton, he is a Y.
Well, actually, if you don't mind, it's just the Doctor.
Is that an ERB reference?
Yes.
Oh, Biff, you big ERP fan. You managed to manage. You man. You man. You.
But are you
You'll
having a stroke?
get there eventually. You'll get there eventually, buddy. I believe in you.
We're devolving to the point of just like a normal VC with butter on a Saturday night.
I never thought I'd hear someone stammer in one of these more than Rena has, but I think that's more than Rena's ever done.
Oh no, I can do a stammer for an extended period of time. I get.
Yeah, no, we don't test him on that. He will do it.
Oh, I can't. Whenever there gets a certain point, whenever I'm stammering, that I just stop entirely, and my brain has to buffer.
Yeah.
I become a YouTube video.
Not.
Yeah.
There are actually some points where I will just, like, if I forgot my point or I don't know what my sentence was supposed to be, I will just say one word and then stop and then go quiet for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, and it pisses us off every single time.
Biff can attest that there have been times where I've started typing him something and forgot what it was and then just sent him the first half of the sentence anyway.
I can believe that. I remember when I sent you the script for my One Punch Man season 2 script. I'm like, oh, I'm surprised this script ended up being longer than my first, my one for season 1. And you just replied with the word age.
I thought it was obvious what it meant, but like it really wasn't.
No.
I was accusing you of being old. That's all.
You're older than me, motherfucker. I'm the youngest person in this call by quite a lot, actually, I think.
That's true. Did Butter ever check Twitter?
Did you check Twitter?
I actually did not. No, I got
You should go
distracted.
check Nev's latest tweet. Trust me, Marty, the payoff is huge.
See, now I kind of don't want to because it's a wee bit concerning. It's a wee bit
Trust me.
Biff,
What's up?
I will break your legs, you know.
I'm not the one who tweeted it.
No, it is Biff's fault.
I know you. I know you put him up to this.
I actually
I know.
didn't. I actually
This is
did not.
This is technically, from a certain point of view, his fault. This would never have happened.
It's one.
This would never have happened if he
It's
didn't say.
100%.
If he didn't say something, this would not have been. This would not have
See,
happened.
I'm not the one who pulled the trigger. I'm just the one who pointed him in the direction of the shop to buy the
You
gun.
pointed the gun. You gave me the gun. You put all 7 bullets in that 6-shooter, and you were like, "Do it."
Biff, I blame you on this.
There comes a point where
No,
if you,
blame me. Oh,
if,
yeah.
if
that's
you
fair.
build a robot to shoot someone, it's not the robot's fault that it shoots someone.
That checks out.
Does this mean you're a robot, Nem?
Uh,
I think we got him.
Actually, that actually reminds me of one of my other favorite little gags in Rick and Morty, where there's a cold open where Rick considers it less of an inconvenience to build a small robot with like a high enough level of sentience to have an existential crisis. He finds it easier to build that to go across the table and pass him the butter than like just leaning across and grabbing it.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, if you have the robot to do it, then it'll do it every time. You lean over, you got to do it again and again and again every time you want to do it.
What is my
The
purpose?
net gains.
I love that I just love that he gave it enough sentience to where like he tells it its purpose is to pass butter, and it just looks in its hands and says, "Oh my god."
Rick is such a messed up person.
Yeah,
I have seen that clip.
Yeah, have you seen like a full episode of the show now?
No, but I have watched more Rick and Morty than I have SpongeBob.
Cringe. I think like if you're able to in the upcoming week before the episode comes out, if you have the time for it, try and watch through seasons 1 and 2. I think it's only like 20 episodes total.
Okay, then I'll just stop.
You're not missing a whole like as much as I still like seasons 3 through 7. You're not missing much.
I'm not up to watch the incest and the cum monster and all that. I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's like seasons 4 onwards. You don't need to worry about that. Seasons 1 and 2 and maybe 3 are the only required viewing.
Yeah.
That's.
Or you could just ask a friend about the series and just leave it at that.
Hey, Biff.
Hi, so Rick and Morty.
Listen, first, before this conversation starts, I need to make sure that your IQ is high enough to understand the complexity of it.
Oh my god, right. If Liam writes this episode, like he put the Madra copy pasta in Madra Eyes, and he's absolutely putting the copy pasta in this one if he ends up writing it. And given that he argued on the cast for it, I think there's a pretty good shot of that.
What if the last thing the Doctor says to Rick is just, "It appears you just didn't have a high enough IQ for this fight," and that's what he says.
Actually, holy shit, writing fire got good.
It appears you didn't have the IQ.
Actually, if you don't mind,
but I'm surprised you don't recognize your own IQ.
There's just nothing there.
There's actually less than nothing.
There is the actual creation of less than nothing. What would that even look like?
I'm trying to think what other awesome quotes could throw in.
Obviously, it starts with Boomstick calling him Doctor Who, and Wiz says, "Actually, if you don't mind, it's just the Doctor."
Oh wait, no, actually, my whole bit for this one is that I'm gonna refer to it as Rick from Morty versus Doctor Who.
I'm reminded that I think when I used Doctor Who on Not Death Battle, I had one of the hosts call him Doctor Who and the other one call him the Doctor, and never addressed it.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you one of my favorite Rick and Morty images. I think be sure to.
Absolutely.
I fucking hate this image so much; it fills me with visceral rage. I hate that Rick is doing the DreamWorks face. I think that's what pisses me off the most.
You didn't bring anything with gluten, did you? I hope you didn't.
You don't bring anything with gluten. You remember to put this on the screen now. Remember and put this on the screen. This is the Mater
I'm going to
include
no scans in this entire prediction except that.
Oh my god, it's just Mater again.
Wow.
I actually don't know if I can include scans in this, because like half of the stuff is just me and Butter going, "We're pretty sure this happened. We're pretty sure this is a thing."
Well, a lot of it would also be hard because it's a lot of the literature stuff, and that's just going to be a pain to pull up.
Boring.
Yeah, our sources do trust us.
I did make that one Arthurian video that was like over an hour long and like all literature, so I guess like it would not be new for me.
Yeah, and the sources, dude, trust me.
Don't worry, oh my god, I didn't include my sources in that actually. In the other interview, I didn't put my
Oh.
sources. I said what stories they're from. People can fucking find them if they want. If they don't trust me,
Yeah.
well, that's just too fucking bad, isn't it? I'm
Yeah.
Australian. I don't
You know,
even exist.
it would
How
have
can you
been
distrust what isn't real?
it would have been one thing if you forgot your sources, but thankfully you didn't put anything with gluten in its place.
That's true. That's good. I didn't say in this story, King Arthur eats gluten and destroys a son. But thankfully that was not included. I didn't include that story.
Yeah, and you didn't link any gluten in the description.
Yeah. Thankfully, my sponsor G Fuel is gluten free.
Are they sponsoring this one? Are we about to do an ad read?
I am not at the state where I can just on the fly drop an ad read. That is gonna come one day though. I'm gonna do one of these predictions. I'm just gonna be like this. Anyway, so by the way, did you guys know that this prediction is sponsored by G Fuel?
One of these days, I'm gonna be able to be on a prediction with Rena, and we've got a really funny bit planned. You're gonna love it. Trust me, Marty. The payoff is huge.
This video is brought to you by Genshin Cringe Pack.
Oh, I hope not.
They might actually.
The problem is that I would pronounce it with the Chinese name, and people would be like, "What the fuck's that?"
And what's the Chinese name now?
I'm trying to remember. I barely remember its normal name sometimes. Do you think I put a lot of stock into this game?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a game with Chong Yun. How could you not?
Do you think I have a lot of
Nem
to give?
Nem, if you're not spending a lot of time on this game, then I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I haven't played it in like a year and a half, but everyone else in the GGM
I don't give a shit about Yanshan Impact. It's not. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yanshan.
Every time I go back into the GGM server and look in the gaming discussion channel, there's always so much Genshin now. The new region really brought everyone out of the woodwork.
The only reason to play a gacha game is to get the best stuff without paying a single dollar, so that you can go to people who spend lots of money, who have worse stuff than you, and just make fun of them.
Yeah,
I make myself sound like a sadist. I'm not a sadist.
I found out about a One Punch Man gacha game, and like, I might pick that up as a thing for.
I have played that. It's fine. No,
is it any good?
It's fine. I stopped playing it, but I drop every single gacha game that's not Fate Grand Order, so.
It'll be a more productive use of my lunch break at work than Mario Kart Tour or scrolling Twitter. I'd imagine.
It is, yeah, probably better than that. I dropped Tour.
I've played only like one gacha game, and it was a bad one. I have not really touched them since.
I made you do a gacha roll IRL, but you want to tell them that story?
Oh yeah, so you know those little collectibles where one of them is always golden, and that's the super rare one.
Yes, they're called chase collectibles.
So Biff buys like two of them. Yeah, it was two of them, and he gives me. He's like, here, I know you love your gachas, Butter Sameries. So here are these. So I opened the first one, and it's just Golden Mario. I just want. Yeah. Golden Mario and Yoshi. I got him right over here. Yahoo!
I've got Lego Madara and Lego Madara. Why don't you tell us who you got, Biff? Who you got on your side? Who's over you?
Well, looking over what's on my desk, I've got a Charmander plush. I've got Koro Sensei.
No.
I got Pac-Man, my son. I've got a companion cube. I've got Tai Lung. Why is he in the thumbnail? And of course, save the best for last. The teddy that I had as a memento of my grandfather. See, you can't follow on from that with a bet. I win the moral high ground.
Hey Biff, I got a request.
If we're including everything we got, what have I got? I've got 7 hard drives. Don't ask. I've got a model Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Oh, that sounds so bad out of context. Oh no!
Sorry.
Three three of them are backups. One of them is the one I use to get recorded footage off my PS5 whenever I do. Two of them are completely empty. And there's one.
Yeah, don't worry, only two of them are for pornography. Don't worry, only two of them.
Oh well, that's what the 8th hard drive up there is for.
Ah,
oh my fucking god!
the secret hard drive.
Oh my fucking god! There is a hard drive up there. I didn't even notice. There was a hard drive up there. What the fuck?
Manifesting works.
I've just turned around to look at it. And
I've
noticed the giant Among Us that's still in like frame for anything I film with me. Like even in my sponsor, like when I drop down laughing, you can see the Among Us behind me. It's still there.
I cannot see Lego Pocahontas from over here. That was the thing that was referring to.
I've got like 8 Transformers here and a Godzilla and a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Hey, Ben.
What's up, Margarine?
I got a quirky little request for you.
Everything you say is quirky.
That's not true. Not every. Not
I think
not
I've heard
everything.
him say hello.
Beth.
And you can't say when he stammers it's quirky. That's
He
not
even says
words.
that in a quirky way. It's either he makes fun of me saying it how I say it, or he goes, "How?"
Okay, butter. Let's do a quick little role play here. Ask me how my day is.
I don't like that. That's going in the GGM quotes, actually.
Ask me how my day is.
Nem, I'm going to need you to word your words better.
It's Rena's way of talking that's rubbing off on me. Oh no.
Alright, there, you've been putting GGM quotes. Have fun.
Hey, Viv, what's the last thing you quoted me on?
Actually, I can.
That was not like a challenge. That wasn't like a challenge, you know.
I've been issued a challenge. Oh no, I'm
No,
not.
for fuck's sake. Butter still hasn't asked me how my day is, so clearly he is too quirky. He can't even say something.
Okay. So I can do it. All right. So Nem, how's your day? You do any versus scaling recently?
Fucking.
That wasn't quirky. That was just flat out stupid. The answer is yes, though.
I think the last
Ow.
and the last thing I put you in quotes for was when I asked you what Larry was winning and then made you say would.
All right, Biff, though.
Of course it is.
Yeah, what's that?
So if Tai Lung ever happens to make a death battle and you do a little review, can you just not put him in the thumbnail?
I'm sorry. If he makes a death battle, he's like, we're gonna manifest him next, and he's gonna be like, the first thing I want to do is make a death battle. Finally, a worthy episode. This battle will be legendary.
The episode that he creates is The Fly versus the 8th hard drive.
The hard drive.
His name's Norton.
I'm gonna forget in like 2 minutes.
Every time I ask someone to draw something in one of these, it ends up happening. Is anyone gonna draw Norton the Fly?
Norton the Fly managed to blitz Nemesis. His stealth has also.
He is a
Norton found the 8th hard drive.
Norton is the 8th hard drive.
The hard drive had the intelligence advantage, but unfortunately Norton has snuck around Nem before, so...
Yes, the famous porn intelligence. I just realized I can't make that joke. I have made it a joke that not Death Battle characters sometimes do their research on Pornhub, so... I can't actually make that joke. According to the Nemiverse lore, Butter's got a point.
Hey, Nem, you might not know about this, but there has just been a line of stuff that even if I'm not right now, it's going to be right eventually.
That is generally how words work, yeah. I could say, the milk will be drunk, and it might not happen now, but eventually someone's going to pour some alcohol in milk, and that milk's going to get drunk. So, it's kind of how it is.
Okay, Nemesis Bloodreich of Nemesis Bloodreich, creator of Nemesis Bloodreich, also fancies in Nemesis Bloodreich. His charity in Nemesis Bloodreich has also been known to give Nemesis Bloodreich to the Nemesis Bloodreich Foundation.
At least he knows how to, like...
We just let that continue.
speaking of Bloodreich, if you use code Bloodreich in the link in the description,
Yeah, if you use code Bloodrake in the description, you can get 100 free primos in Genshin Impact.
Now, Biff, call it the right thing.
1 Shen Impact.
That has already left my brain. I've already forgotten.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nah, you're too busy thinking of Mario Karts and Saitamas.
Genuinely, yeah.
What if
Biff Weed, is your
Those are
profile pic a
what if
crossover with Mario Kart and Saitama?
what if they do a One Punch Man kart race and they call it One Kart Man?
That suits more for like One Punch Man would fit that kind of game more than a fighting game.
That's
Or
main
anything
king.
story-based.
I mean, I don't think the fighting game's a problem if you just ignore the fact that Saitama exists.
One Punch Man just doesn't translate over to a game format as well. It's just not built for that.
I think it's fine if they don't try to capture the energy of the manga or the webcomic, and they just do a game that happens to be One Punch Man. They should.
Sometimes
they should absolutely make a One Punch Man game with a battle system that just doesn't work, and you just never have any fights. You just go around talking to people, and that's the whole game.
That'd be funny.
I guess that's the
Is this where we call the recording?
Right, this is where we should be
So Doctor wins, right?
Yeah.
I thought we said Rick won.
Oh right, yeah, sorry, Rick won because he's like the smartest being in the multiverse,
Who's
so
Rick?
he'd find a way. You might know him from the image currently on screen that I hope you haven't removed from on screen.
I kind of scrolled up.
Is it the one in the yellow shirt?
I actually end up scrolling up by accident, so what's on screen right now is just Gru and Drew.
The Rick and Morty's mom, she's a badass image.
Actually, can you just put the picture of the two Grus on screen? I prefer that instead.
You say it like it's a Pokemon, like it's Gru 2.
Drew
1 and Gru 2.
We were wrapping up and then just we were wrapping up and then just the conversation devolved again. God damn it!
Just derailed again.
We cannot stay on the track.
Goodbye, everyone. We can't even stay on the track when the track is being built in front of us.
Goodbye, gamers.
Later, everyone.